upper deck up in left field. And I thought the rules in the ballpark, when there's a home run ball to be had, unless it's in somebody's hand, it's fair game.
Correct.
The ball seemed to ricochet off some people. It's on the ground in front of some people. Another guy runs up, grabs it, takes it back to his son. All's well that ends well. Son was excited.
If you were alive in 1997, I'm saying babies, toddlers, even if you were in your mother's womb in 1997, you were inundated with Titanic. Titanic mania was everywhere. The song that shall not be named is one that many of us can barely stand listening to because we've heard it so many times. It was one of the first movies that was so long it was cut into 2 VHS tapes. So when you rented it from Blockbuster, you had to rewind both of them if it was even in stock. What Titanic ultimately represented was not only the ultimate romantic movie.
I'd rather be his whore than your wife.
And as you can see, at the time, it was the top grossing movie. And still today, it's in the top 5. Although some of these movies aren't the best representations of good movies, including The Force Awakens, extreme disappointment. But it also represented what chivalry is supposed to look like.
Women and children first.
I need more women and children, please.
I really believe in my heart that if the Titanic was sinking right now and they said women and children on the lifeboats only, some of you men would fist fight your way onto the lifeboats.
I'll do you one even better. I would have threw the first punch. I would have been the first person to shove people. There is no reality I put someone I've never met over my own life. I would have thrown the first kick and punch. Heck, I would have drop kicked someone. Especially if I have my family on that boat with me. Bro, I promise you, it's GG's.
Big Dog came on here and said that if the Titanic was happening now, some guys would literally fight off the women and children to get to the lifeboats. Hi, I'm some guys.
As you can see, it's been a long time since 1997, and the sentiments that we used to hold, at least when we were watching Titanic, no longer hold anymore. Guys are telling you straight up, hey, not me. I'm getting on the boat.
I have a child.
A sinking ship, long as if I'm not with my peoples and them, okay, word. Then, we got to work something out. But if it's just me and a bunch of people I don't know and a bunch of random, hey, listen, that is a side of me you do not want to see. Anytime I post like full body, it'll be somebody that'll say some shit like, oh man, imagine if this was running at you full speed and he don't stop. Oh, you gonna see what the f happened that day. F around with me and find out. Women and children first. Women and children first.
Women and children first.
Why? Why? Got the way. Why? That's my son. Oh, why?
I have a child.
I keep seeing people losing it over this new data on young men. If you haven't seen the data yet, it shows that a sharply declining number of American boys believe that women should have the same job opportunities as men or that they should be paid the same for the same work.
The report this young lady is referencing is from David Waldron, titled American Boys Have Become Less Supportive of Gender Equity, a series of graphs showing that regardless of a variety of characteristics, young boys across the board are simply changing.
And I keep seeing people come on here like, parents, what are you doing wrong? What's wrong with your sons? And I just want to ask, if you were told for decades that you're dangerous, that you're privileged, that maybe you're sexist and you don't even know it, wouldn't you overcorrect eventually?
There's an interesting commonality that no matter what characteristic you use to separate the 8th and 10th grade boys by, you got similar answers from gamers to non-gamer, checking for social media usage amongst the boys. They measured against if boys had healthy relationships where they could speak openly with their parents to if they had dating relationships with young girls. They accounted for boys that had healthy friendship relationship with other boys versus being loners. There was an accounting for if they had their father in the home versus not having their father in their home. Even an accounting for religion, as well as how much the young boys spent time watching online videos. The results across the board were the same.
We've made men the butt of the jokes for years now. What did you think was going to happen? If you don't think that this is 100% understandable, then you haven't been paying attention. Anytime you treat a group like villains, they can only bend so far before they break, and usually it ends up with an overcorrection like this. Tell boys they're misogynistic, and eventually they're going to start identifying that way. Just why this reaction of, well, what's wrong with the boys is so wrong. You're doubling down on exactly this line of thinking that got us here.
68% increase in divorce rate if a man loses his job. Even if he finds a job quickly after, his chance of divorce is still up by 40%.
Date multiple people. Just sweet Dr. Lori. I help high-achieving Black women date in Paris, and I give dating advice. I don't know why it's so hard for women to get this concept of dating multiple people. Is it the patriarchy that has us brainwashed? Is it society that has us brainwashed? Men are dating multiple people. You should too.
In wake of the coffee date gate, it's important for us to realize the reason why Titanic sold so many tickets. It's not that people wanted to see a ship sink into the water, is that people wanted to reminisce on a classic love story, one where the high-class young lady falls in love with the low-class, good-looking guy, and they just had true love.
Like I said, I don't know why it's so difficult to think that this is the way that dating should be. I mean, how do you know? Sometimes you don't even really know what you like. And it may take multiple people to figure that out. And then, if you are mature like I am, you recognize that there may not be the one.
The power of the movie Titanic comes from the visualization of a woman's the one. That perfect guy that no matter what happens makes everything okay. As a matter of fact, there are very few women at all that can watch Titanic without crying. And hearing a woman talk about not being able to find her the one is the ultimate in women's cope.
That you might like James because he's creative and you go to art galleries. Victor because he cooks for you. Steve because he's a great conversationalist. And yeah, it would be great to have all of that in one person, but sometimes it doesn't exist in one person.
An argument can be made that this scene with Jack and Rose at the bow of the Titanic is the most memorable, maybe even the most important scene in cinematic history. Lower class Jack telling an upper class Rose, don't worry about their class positions, just let love make things work. And let us not forget the dynamics of their situation. An upper class woman marrying down because she fell in love with a guy that loved her. And a man that was willing to risk his life to make sure that she could live.
Okay, would you give that ball back?
I wouldn't have given that ball back.
Yeah.
The Harrison Bader home run, I'm sure everybody's seen it by now, or at least most people have seen it by now. Bader, fourth inning, upper deck up in left field. And I thought the rules in the ballpark, when there's a home run ball to be had, unless it's in somebody's hand, it's fair game.
Correct.
The ball seemed to ricochet off some people. It's on the ground in front of some people. Another guy runs up, grabs it, takes it back to his son. All's well that ends well. Son was excited, but one particular fan had a problem with it.
Yep. Just kind of a shocking it's like one of those like baseball moments that it's like the unwritten rule of baseball. Like the ball is free grabs. Like
right.
If you don't have possession, if you don't wrestle away from somebody, it's there.
Yeah.
And kind of a shocking moment. It kind of killed the vibes because we were on a high. It was just when
you felt bad for the dad, you felt bad for the kid more than anybody.
Yeah.
Women and children first.
Now let's take a look back at the chart that we watched in the beginning of this video showing that 8th and 10th grade boys are changing their views of how they feel about feminism and equality between the sexes. The modern assumption when you talk about differences between the genders is that women are the nurturers, but this is anything but a nurturing interaction. If you're this young boy who seems to be in that 8th, 10th grade range, he's going to remember this interaction with this woman for probably the rest of his life. Instead of this woman saying, this is a young boy who probably plays baseball and he wants to have a souvenir from the game, I'll let him have the ball. She said, no, it's my ball. It landed closest to me. I want it. Is not very nurturing, one, but number two, think of the bigger part of all of this. Do you think that this boy in a fight or flight situation is going to sacrifice himself and be romantic to save her life? You see why those charts look the way they do yet?
What's even worse, this analogy is about his grandma that was in the car park and she was struggling with her car hood and she couldn't get down with some other right? And he went there and he said, Grandma, did no man come and help you? And she said, oh, there's men around and no one stopped to help me. What about the woman that saw your grandma struggling and they walked straight past her. But you're gonna forget that magically.
Women and children first.
The question I would have for feminists observing this interaction between this young boy who was longing for a chance to go home with a Major League Baseball and this woman who I'm not exactly sure what she's going to do with the baseball, but it's probably not going to end up being used with her playing with it in a baseball game or catch with someone in her family, is do you think that that young boy is more likely to walk away from this saying, I'm going to support feminists and young ladies get equality, or am I going to move in a different direction? Because if you look by the rules of getting the ball in the park, he got the ball fair and square, or his father did. And then she walks over and makes a scene and essentially says, give me the ball because it was closest to me. And maybe she has a point there, but she could also say, this is a young boy who's probably a baseball fan, a baseball player, and the ball means so much to him. I'm going to nurture that boy in this moment. But what that boy saw in this moment is that there is no nurturing in this woman. In fact, this woman wants what she wants first. She's not thinking about what the young boy wants. She's not nurturing the young boy. And so the next interaction he's going to have with a woman, he's going to say, I got to get mine before she gets hers. And that's why you have guys not getting up on the subway, guys saying that if it's ladies and children first, I don't care about that. I'm getting on one of those boats. That's the cost of this new wave of I'm special and I deserve, but I don't want a coffee date because I want the old way, but I want the new way. And guys are saying, I don't want any of it. It's stupid. I don't want to play this game. Either we play by the old rules or we scrap the rules and we just say we're all the same. And that's what we're going to do with it. Because I can guarantee you this boy learned that lesson. If he went back to this particular situation, he'd say, I got the ball. Come take it from me. Mano a mano. And if you're not woman enough to do that, shut your trap. That's the lesson that I think this boy learned. And I think it's the lesson that a generation of young boys have learned, and it's showing in the stats. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.